So I'm a millennial, and my generation, it's the generation that's saddled with student loan debt. We're probably not going to get Social Security. I mean, what do you say to the millennial generation? What would you say to them?
I say, please create good institutions for the first turning, because when I talk to millennials and ask them about boomers, baby boomers. And I just say, and I ask my employees, what do you think about baby boomers? The word hate comes up a lot because of the issues that you've described, which I can really kind of understand. It's sort of like we created this ridiculous idea that everybody has to go to college. We created government guaranteed loans so that people can buy them, the money becomes available. And then the tuition went on absolute tear higher. So the costs exploded. And this idea that everybody should have a college degree, it debases the value of a college degree. Far too many people are going to college, and the costs are way too high. And we see that through the student loan problem. And now we're just talking about eliminating it. I mean, that's Elizabeth Warren, that's Bernie Sanders, and the like. But, student loan debt, the way it is right now, survives bankruptcy filings. There's only two things that survive bankruptcy filings: your taxes and your student loan debt. And you can understand why student loan debt survives bankruptcy, because if it didn't, when you graduate from college, you just declare bankruptcy. That'd be it. You just don't pay it back. So, yeah, and the Social Security system is completely out of control. I mean, when FDR put it in place, the eligibility age of 65 was longer than the average life expectancy. Life expectancy is presently falling because of suicide and opioids and the like, but it's still up in the upper 70s. So we went from, you're probably kind of a iffy chance you're ever going to get Social Security because you might not survive, live long enough to get it. Now you get it. Well, most people, they think that they're going to live into their 80s. And so you have tremendous cost to that system. And it seems to me that the wind that's in the political environment right now is to even make it more generous as opposed to cut it. So this is all part of the fourth turning again. The Social Security system, completely unsustainable, has to be fixed, super easy to fix. Raise the eligibility age. That's it. So easy. And I think that will go through once it's perceived to be a crisis. For the present time period, people are covering their ears and humming. There is no crisis. There is no problem with the debt. We can actually give more freebies away, and we create illogical economic theory, like MMT that you brought up, to kind of justify sort of the mass psychosis of the programs that are being floated right now.
Well, we're heading into 2020, a new decade.
It's hard to believe, yeah, a new decade.
I know, it's crazy, right? What's your outlook for the next 10 years? I know that's a broad question, but...
Well, we're going to have the crescendo of all of this during the 20s. It's pretty interesting because the 20s, in the 20th century, the 20s were super boom times. And weirdly, I think the 20s this time will be very much different than that, with real turmoil, and we're going to have to face Social Security, health care, all of these things, deficit-based spending, all of that is going to have to be resolved during the 2020s because the compounding curve is just so bad. The CBO puts together forecasts, and their forecasts assume pretty benign future. No recession, interest rates not very high, and all of this. And they say that the interest expense as a percentage of GDP, which was at 1.25% for the last several years, started to go up a little bit recently, but they say that by 2027, it's going to be about 3.5% of GDP. That's a big, big increase, and that's coming. And when you do that, it kind of says, hey, GDP is going to be knocked by 2%, 2.5%, because we have to pay interest. So I think the Fed knows all this, and this is why they're talking already with nominal GDP over 4%, they're talking about large-scale asset purchases to combat the next recession, because they know that this problem is going to really hit the headlines when the next economic downturn comes. And I think it's foolish to believe that there will be no economic downturn for the next 10 years, considering where we are right now.
Jeffrey Gundlach, CEO of DoubleLine Capital, thank you so much.
Thank you, Julia. Good to see you.